Call of Duty World at War, a game that would forever change the scope of what it means to be Call of Duty. In this video, I'm going to discuss the development and lore behind the revolutionary game mode, Nazi Zombies. Nazi Zombies was originally a side project created by Jesse Snyder. It would soon take hold in the Treyarch Studios as a fun, new game mode for the team to work on in their free time. It was later discovered by a higher level management and was allowed to be in the final product as an earnable game mode upon completing the campaign. The major leads of the established team to keep in mind are Jimmy Zielinski and Jason Blundell. Zielinski was the main creative director, while Blundell was a producer simply helping the production and development of the Zombies game mode. Originally, there was only one map, Nacht der Untoten, or Night of the Undead. Nacht der Untoten was a simple map with no clear path for players outside of simply earning the highest round possible. In this aspect, the gameplay is very similar to an old school arcade game like Pac-Man or Galaga. The game mode allowed for up to 4 players who would utilize the weapons they could purchase in the map to fend off against the infinite horde of the undead. To obtain these weapons, there were wall buys, chalked outlines of weapons on the wall that you could buy the outlined weapon from, and a mystery box, a small toy box that would give a randomized weapon. Many of the weapons would come from the World at War gun pool, such as the M1 Garand and the M2 Flamethrower. However, there was a new addition specifically for the Nazi Zombies game mode. This new gun was called the Ray Gun. It was a pistol-styled weapon modeled after an alien blaster that could fire bright green plasma bolts that dealt splash damage. Nacht was designed after a destroyed German bunker with only 4 rooms to traverse. There were also windows that could be boarded up with planks of wood to delay the waves of zombies. There were also power-ups that had a percentage chance of dropping each time a zombie was killed. These power-ups included max ammo, which refilled the reserve ammo for each player's guns, insta-kill, which made all zombies die in a single hit, nuke, which killed all zombies currently spawned in, and double points, which made each instance of earning points worth twice as much. At this early stage of Nazi Zombies, there wasn't a story or even Easter eggs. The 4 players were simply 4 random Marines whose models had been taken from the campaign. Still, this bare stage of the new game mode is all it would take to pique the interest of the entire Call of Duty fanbase, with its eerie atmosphere. After the release of World at War and the discovery of the new Nazi Zombies game mode, players would pour hours into this new Nacht der Untoten map. Some would attempt to compete for the highest round, some would search for hidden signs of an overall backstory and lore, and some would simply play as a new way to enjoy the game with their friends. With the amount of success the new game mode garnered, Treyarch would go on to create a second map that would be purchasable with World at War's first DLC. This map would be Verrückt, or Crazy. Verrückt changed the game mode in lots of ways. Firstly, it added a new main power box that would be needed to activate several items in the map. Verrückt would also add perk machines, vending machines where the player could purchase a Perca-Cola and receive a new buff, similar to the multiplayer perks. These perks would be Double Tap, which would give the player a faster fire rate, Juggernog, which would allow the player to take an additional hit from the zombies before going down, Quick Revive, which allowed a player to revive their teammate faster, and Speed Cola, which allowed the player to swap weapons and reload faster. This new map would also introduce traps, specifically the Shock Trap, a set of doorways that when paid for would create a lightning barrier killing any zombie who came in contact with it. Verrückt would also go on to add writings on the walls and radios around the map that would begin to give clues to an overarching story. The players were again the 4 Marines that they had played as on Nacht. These Marines, having survived the German bunker, were now in the Wittenau Sanatorium, an asylum for crazed patients who would be experimented upon by the newly introduced Group 935. Group 935 is a German research group centered around experimenting with Element 115 and its uncanny ability to reanimate dead tissue. Though, as the players could see, these experiments went awry, and the reanimated corpses would begin to attack everyone in sight, eventually destroying the facility and killing everyone inside. With another well-received zombies map, Treyarch would go on to create a third map for the second DLC, Shi No Numa, or Swamp of Death. Shi No Numa was based around a Japanese swamp with 5 buildings to explore. The main building was made up of 3 rooms across 2 floors and an outside courtyard. This is where the spawn room would be. Stretching in 4 directions from the main building were 4 pathways that had a hut at the end of them. Each hut would have a point for a perk machine, but the perk machine would be randomly chosen once the door was bought, so there was no way of sprinting straight for the perk that you wanted. One of the pathways also had a purchasable zip line from the second floor of the main building that led straight to the hut at the end. A new wonder weapon was added, the Wunderwaffe DG2. It was a steampunk-inspired electric rifle that would shoot a beam of lightning. Upon electrocuting a zombie, the lightning would jump to any other zombie within a specific distance, making it easy to kill entire hordes with a single shot. Shi No Numa also introduced a new trap, the Flogger. The Flogger was a spinning set of dual logs with nails sticking out of them. Unlike the lightning trap from Verrückt, however, the player could still traverse the doorway by going prone and crawling underneath the Flogger while it was active. There was also a new style of rounds where every 4 to 6 rounds there would be hell dogs instead of zombies. Upon finishing a dog round, the players would be rewarded with a max ammo. Now that we've discussed the new gameplay mechanics of Shi No Numa, let's move on to the story implications. This map introduced a new Japanese research group known as Division 9. The map is supposed to be based around one of Division 9's research facilities. Shi No Numa also changed the characters that the players would embody. Instead of 4 nameless Marines, the players were now Edward Richthofen, Nikolai Belinsky, Hank Dempsey, and Takeo Masaki. Nikolai Belinsky is a Russian soldier that was captured during the Battle of Stalingrad and was taken back to Germany as a prisoner of war. There, he would be experimented on by Group 935. Hank Dempsey is an American Marine. Shi No Numa would slightly retcon the earlier maps by retroactively stating that one of the nameless Marines was Dempsey. Dempsey was sent by America to investigate the disappearance of an American spy known as Peter McCain. Peter McCain was sent undercover to investigate Group 935, but he was later found and captured. In fact, you can see his body hanging from the roof in the spawn room of Shi No Numa. At the end of Verrückt, it's retroactively stated that the 4 Marines were captured and killed except for Dempsey. Takeo Masaki is a Japanese Imperial soldier reporting directly to the Emperor of Japan. He was sent to investigate Group 935 and Division 9's collaborative research and report back to the Emperor on his findings. However, the Emperor told Division 9 to capture Takeo upon his arrival and use him for their research. Edward Richthofen is a German Group 935 scientist. He is perhaps the most important character in the zombie storyline. After all, Richthofen is the one who started the zombies apocalypse and set many of the Group 935 facilities into disarray. To discuss that, though, we need to move on to the final map, Der Riese, or The Giant. Der Riese was the 4th and final zombies map for World at War. Der Riese is a German weapon manufacturing site with a Group 935 research facility built into it. The map introduced many new gameplay elements like teleporters, monkey bombs, and pack-a-punch. The teleporters would need to be linked to the main teleporter pad and spawn. Afterwards, they would allow players to teleport from any of the 3 stations back to the spawn pad. After teleporting, players would also receive a random power-up. The pack-a-punch machine was only accessible once all 3 teleporters were linked to the spawn pad. It would allow players to spend 5,000 points to level up their gun to a new tier that dealt Element 115 infused damage. The monkey bombs were new tactical equipment that would spawn a symbol monkey, forcing all zombies to aggro onto it. After some time, the monkey would explode, dealing damage to all of the zombies that were standing around it. Der Riese also added a new power-up, Carpenter, which would instantly reboard all of the windows in the map. Der Riese introduced a plethora of new lore elements to the zombie storyline. It introduced us to the crux of what caused the apocalypse and how Richthofen played into all of it. Richthofen, a Group 935 scientist, had a colleague named Ludwig Maxis. Maxis had a daughter named Samantha and a pregnant dog named Fluffy. During their investigations into Element 115, Richthofen and Maxis developed the teleporter. They utilized this to teleport to the moon, discovering an alien device later labeled the Moon Pyramid Device, or MPD. Group 935 established a new research facility on the moon named Griffin Station, so they could discover more about the MPD. Richthofen and Maxis were named the directors of Griffin Station. In a later experiment, Richthofen wanted to research with his teleporter more, but Maxis refused. After some pushing and shoving, Richthofen trapped Maxis, Samantha, and Fluffy in the teleporter and activated it. This transported Maxis to what would later be called the Crazy Place. It turned Fluffy into the hellhounds that you see during dog rounds, and it sent Samantha to Griffin Station, where she would hide away into the MPD. Once entering the MPD, Samantha gained control over the Element 115 infused corpses and directed them to destroy every sign of Group 935 and Richthofen. The zombies' eyes turned yellow to show that Samantha was now in control of them. In Der Riese, the crew consisting of Dempsey, Nikolai, Richthofen, and Takeo, later to be called Ultimus, would need to find and repair the teleporters to help Richthofen get to the MPD and stop Samantha from using the zombies to destroy the world. With this, the World at War Zombies development came to a close. Treyarch did release modding tools with the game, which was typical for Call of Duty around this time period. This led to the development of many custom zombies maps, some of which would go on to garner as much recognition as the actual Treyarch maps. Some of these more popular maps are Return to Das Herrenhaus, a map based around the World at War campaign mission, but with a zombies touch-up; Leviathan, an underwater map with similar movement mechanics to the later Black Ops 1 Zombies map, Moon; and Cheese Cube, a map based around a giant tower made of cheese with a rising liquid that would kill players if touched. These modded maps would allow World at War to be played long after its intended lifespan. Also, many channels and websites would spawn around zombies. Some of these channels and websites include Mr. Gallic JD, Mr. Waffle Waffles, Noah J456, The Relaxing Inn, Vanos Gaming, Prups, the UGX modding community, and many more. I also wanted to touch on the CoD Zombies music, largely contributed to by Treyarch's own Kevin Sherwood. Nacht der Untoten didn't have its own Easter egg song, but Verrückt would get Lullaby of a Dead Man, Shi No Numa had The One, which you heard in the edit at the start of this video, and Der Riese would get Beauty of Annihilation. Kevin Sherwood posts all of his songs for zombies here on YouTube, so if you haven't heard them before, I definitely recommend going to his channel and checking them out. This video took a lot more work than I anticipated going into it, and there are definitely things that I'm not pleased with, particularly around my editing skills that I attempted in the beginning. But I hope you enjoyed this documentary thing. I plan to do more for the other Treyarch Zombies games, and if I'm able to focus enough to finish those, I would also like to touch on non-Treyarch Zombies modes within the Call of Duty games. If you like this video and want to see the others that I have planned, please leave a like. If you don't, I would appreciate a comment describing what I could change. As I'm sure you're aware, I'm very new to this style of editing and presenting, and I only want to make as good of a video as possible to truly capture how much of the CoD Zombies games mean to me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.